She said, "If you truly loved me, you'd understand that I need attention from others too." So, I let her keep sharing those suggestive photos. Then, I sent screenshots to her older brother, the one who pays for her rent. Now, she's been locked out ever since. I'm 34 and thought my life was in order. I've been with Sarah for 2 years and living together for the last 8 months in what I believed was a strong relationship. She's 26, works part-time at a boutique, and has an Instagram account with about 8,000 followers. It's not huge, but enough to score some free clothes and the occasional small sponsorship. The issues began around 4 months ago when her posts became more revealing. I'm not talking about standard beach pics or workout shots. These were intentionally provocative, featuring revealing swimwear and tight workout clothes with suggestive poses. Content clearly aimed at attracting male attention. The comment section was just what you'd expect, filled with eager guys posting fire emojis and worse. When I confronted her about it, she immediately became defensive. "It's just social media, Jake. This is how I grow my following. You're being insecure." I explained that I felt uncomfortable with my girlfriend sharing such revealing photos for strangers to comment on. Her response shocked me. "If you loved me, you'd accept that I need attention from others too. It's not like I'm cheating, I'm just posting pictures." She said this as if it were completely logical. "Besides, it's my body, and I can do what I want with it." I told her that while she had the right to post whatever she pleased, I also had the right to feel uncomfortable about it. We argued back and forth for weeks. She continued to post more provocative content, and I grew increasingly frustrated. The tipping point came when she shared a photo in a very revealing workout outfit with a caption about feeling confident and free. That's when I decided to change my approach. Instead of arguing with her, I started noticing other details I had been ignoring, like how she could afford designer workout clothes on a part-time salary, and how she never seemed stressed about money despite living in a $1,200 apartment downtown. I got the answer during a casual chat with her family at a barbecue. Her older brother, Marcus, mentioned how glad he was that she was getting established after he had been helping with her living expenses for the past year. Sarah quickly shifted the topic, but I made a mental note of that. Over the next few weeks, I learned through careful observation and a few strategic questions that Marcus, a successful contractor, had been covering most of her rent since we moved in together. He believed she was focusing on building her career and being responsible. Sarah had told him she was aiming to become a fitness influencer and needed time to establish herself. The reality was different. She worked about 20 hours a week at the boutique, spent most of her time taking photos and chatting with followers online, and was essentially living off her brother's generosity while pretending to be independent. Marcus is traditional, married with 2 kids, and definitely not someone who would approve of his sister's current content strategy. I started taking screenshots of her public posts, not out of spite, but because I realized this situation couldn't last, and I needed to protect myself. I documented every provocative post and every flirty comment she made back to followers. Each time she posted about living her truth while her brother unknowingly funded it, I felt more compelled to act. The final straw came 3 weeks ago when Sarah posted a photo of herself in a very revealing bikini with a caption about loving the confidence my followers give me. The comments were completely inappropriate, and she was responding to some with heart emojis and messages like, "Thanks, hun." When I confronted her about it, she doubled down. "I told you already, Jake. This is who I am. If you can't handle dating someone who's confident and comfortable in her own skin, then maybe you're not the right guy for me." She said this while scrolling through comments from random men making inappropriate suggestions. That night, I made my decision. I compiled screenshots of her public posts into a folder, organized by date, and sent them to Marcus with a simple message. "Hey, Marcus. I thought you should know what Sarah's been posting online. I know you've been helping her out financially, and I wasn't sure if you were aware of her current content direction." I didn't add any drama or opinions, just the facts and the screenshots. Then I waited. Update 1. 5 days later. Marcus called me 2 days after I sent the screenshots. He was quiet for a long time after I confirmed that yes, this was really his sister's public Instagram account. And yes, she had been posting this content while he helped pay her bills. I've been giving her $800 a month because she said she was building a fitness brand and needed time to establish herself. He mentioned that she told him she was working with trainers and building a health-focused social media presence. The conversation was awkward but necessary. Marcus is a good guy who genuinely wanted to help his sister succeed. He just had no idea what kind of brand she was actually creating. We talked for about 45 minutes, and he thanked me for bringing it to his attention. He said he needed time to think about the situation and talk with his wife. Later that evening, Sarah came home in a panic. Marcus called me and said he needs to reassess his support. She somehow saw my Instagram and wasn't happy. "Did you say something to him?" Her tone was accusatory, but I could hear the fear beneath it. "I showed him the screenshots of your public posts," I said calmly. "He's been helping you financially, thinking you were building a professional fitness brand. He deserved to know the truth." She blew up at me, calling me controlling and manipulative, claiming I was trying to sabotage her career. "You had no right to involve my family in our relationship problems." According to her, I was the villain for letting her brother know how she was actually spending the time and freedom his money provided. That night, I packed my things and stayed at a friend's place, telling Sarah I needed space to think about our relationship. She went from angry texts demanding I fix things with her brother to tearful messages about how much she loved me. Update 2. Posted 3 weeks later. Marcus made his decision after talking it over with his wife. He told Sarah he would reduce his support to $400 a month for 3 months, then cut it off entirely. According to him, he'd been happy to support her career goals, but he wasn't comfortable funding what he called content that doesn't align with our family values. Sarah's response was to post angry Instagram stories about fake people who pretend to support you and those who try to control women's choices. She didn't name me directly, but the implication was clear to anyone who knew the situation. The issue was that her follower count began to drop. It turns out when you start posting angry rants mixed with your usual content, people lose interest. Her engagement fell noticeably over the following weeks. She reached out to me repeatedly during this time. The messages began angrily, then became pleading, and eventually desperate. She offered to tone down her content, have a mature conversation about boundaries, and compromise on her posting style. When I didn't respond, she started showing up at places she knew I'd be. The second time this happened, she mentioned something interesting. "I know you think I was just using Marcus for money, but I was building something real. I was going to be able to support myself soon." Maybe that was true, but the timeline didn't align with the increasingly provocative content she had been posting or her actual follower engagement numbers. Update 3. Posted 2 months later. Sarah's reduced support from Marcus lasted the 3 months he promised, then ended. She had been scrambling to find roommates or a cheaper place, but her part-time job couldn't even cover a basic studio apartment in our city. She ended up moving back in with her parents temporarily, which meant a longer commute to her job and no privacy for her content creation. The telling part was what happened with her social media. Living with her parents meant she couldn't post the provocative content that had been getting her the most engagement. Her follower count dropped to around 6,000, and the small sponsor she'd been working with ended their relationship due to decreased engagement metrics. 6 weeks ago, she made one last attempt to win me back. She called me repeatedly and sent long text messages about how I had sabotaged her future and ruined her relationship with her family. She claimed she would have to move to a different city to start fresh because I had turned everyone against her. I kept my response straightforward. "You made your choices about what to post and how to handle our relationship. I made mine about what I was willing to accept. Your brother made his about what he was willing to support. These are all natural consequences of the decisions you made." She tried to argue that I should have just broken up with her instead of involving her family. But here's the thing, Marcus deserved to know what he was actually funding. If she had been honest with him from the beginning about her content strategy, he could have made an informed decision about whether to support it. Final update. Posted 4 months later. Sarah moved to a different city 2 months ago to start over. She saved up money by working extra shifts and found a shared living situation through an online roommate matching service. Her Instagram account has about 5,000 followers now, and her posts are mostly just regular lifestyle content. Either she learned something from this experience, or she just doesn't have the privacy to create the provocative content she was posting before. Marcus and I still talk occasionally. He's glad he found out the truth, although he wishes the situation hadn't strained his relationship with his sister. "I would have been fine with her doing fitness content or even modeling," he told me. "But she misrepresented what she was actually doing, and that's what bothered me most." As for me, I started dating someone new about a month ago. Rachel is 31, works as a nurse, and has a private Instagram account with pictures of her dog and weekend activities. We discussed social media boundaries early on, and we're completely aligned on what we're comfortable with in a relationship. This whole situation taught me something important about compatibility. It's not just about loving someone. It's about sharing core values regarding respect, honesty, and what you want your relationship to look like. Sarah and I were never going to work long-term because we had fundamentally different views on those issues. Some people in my life have said I went too far by involving her family, but I don't see it that way. Marcus was making financial decisions based on incomplete information. Sarah was essentially misleading him about how she was using his support. I just provided the missing context he needed to make an informed choice. If Sarah had been upfront about her content strategy from the beginning, this whole mess could have been avoided. If she had told Marcus she wanted to do provocative modeling and he chose to support that, fine. If she had told me that posting provocative content was non-negotiable for her, I could have made my choice about the relationship earlier. Instead, she tried to have it both ways. Present herself as building a professional brand to her family while sharing increasingly provocative content and demanding that I accept behavior that crossed my boundaries while refusing to acknowledge my concerns as valid. Now she's facing the natural consequences of those choices, and I'm in a relationship with someone who shares my values of honesty and respect. Sometimes the best outcome is just allowing people to experience the results of their own decisions.